Abhishek, it is
Yeah.
such a pleasure to talk to you on this subject. I'm pretty sure you thought this day will never come, and here we are.
Yes. Uh, I had a nick somewhere in my mind that it would, but I was not confident about it, I would say. So
Yeah, yeah,
uh, probably probably you were there, to push. Okay, you can do it. Or uh, you're not on my head and saying that you can do it, you can do it. But that subtle voice, that okay, yeah, you can do it. When you so I think that's more powerful than someone sitting on your head and continuously saying that you can do it, you can do it.
So here we are. I just want to first of all uh, express my gratitude for you to do this. Um, a lot of people work with me, as you know, and out of them, just a handful actually even agree to want to do this. And I understand why it is because of the certain stigma that is attached to the habit of smoking itself. Now, some people find find it in themselves to have the courage to share their story, and I'm so grateful you're doing that because it's something similar that may have perhaps moved you to work with me. Real stories, people coming and sharing what they went through, um, and what was their experience like, and what are they feeling right now. So I'm super grateful to you for doing this, and I'm sure even the ones who will, I'm certain, will have an impact in their life. It might move them, maybe encourage them to take that journey for themselves with or without me. Some may even come out and reach out to me. So for all of them and on all of their behalf from all times, I'm thankful to you for doing this.
And just one thing that I would like to highlight here is uh, what I believe that one things that one going on live and telling everyone is the image that one carries. No, I'm perfect,
Right.
and that person forgets that being while being a perfect person, he is also a human being, and a human being can make mistakes. No, so
Yeah.
one I think once you accept that okay, it's okay to make mistakes, and uh, and to accept that okay, I can work on that and I can get past it, and
Mhm.
accepting that, I believe that gives you more power.
Yeah, I love what you said there. Like it's about just being authentic, right?
Yeah.
Understanding that we have the shadow, we have the humanness and the greatness in us. And oftentimes it's the pressure from the society that or people around us or our conditioning that makes us believe that we only need to project the light side, but we must hide the darkness. And I'm so glad that you're able to see that. So, Abhishek, before you reached out to me, could you give me an idea, in a brief sense, what was going on? What made you even want to look out for help with smoking?
So before reaching out to you, I tried everything, cold turkey, NRTs. I even thought that okay, I can try to get patches as well, and probably that will help. But I mean, NRTs are probably the same under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Patches are under the same umbrella. So I tried that. I tried pushing myself that okay, just stopping yourself, and but uh, I could see that I want to do that, but and I want to quit. It's just that uh, whenever it happens, I'm not the one who is in control, and I could see that. And also, the initial part being that you want to be healthier, you want to give more time to your family. Uh, I mean, now having so many sessions with you, probably I see that okay, those were the initial layers that you have. They were much deeper meaning to it, and but yeah, I mean, those were my findings, and I tried everything, but it didn't work out. So just I thought I used to see your reels, and I thought, okay, this guy might be able to help me out, and so yeah, I thought, okay, I've tried everything. So why not this one? And yeah, I reached out to you that okay, I mean, I had this again a nick that okay, um, uh, okay, this might help. So just kept on trying.
Okay. So you just followed your gut, that Nick, as you say, the intuition that you
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
put out to me. But you tried NRTs, you tried cold turkey. Did you have a lot of relapsing experiences with these attempts that you were making?
Yes, probably a lot. I would say I would try every time. Um, I mean, on a frequent basis, I would try, but I would fail. I would say,
Hmm.
and then again the belittling would happen. No, that okay, you tried this and this didn't happen, and now what?
Yeah.
You start to belittle yourself, and
Hmm.
but probably I think now I believe that okay, those were the blocks that were helping me, to reach out to something higher. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So there was guilt as well when you failed. And I mean, failure is a way to put it, but it was just relapse. You would just go back to it again and again. And was this affecting in terms of your work, in terms of your relationships when you were in that state, trying to quit? What was happening for you?
for me it was this feeling that I'm not doing right by myself and the
Mhm.
ones that I love. I mean, these were the only 2 points initially that
Yeah.
I could see, and that these 2 points were pinching me day by day. That okay, you're not doing right. This is not the right thing, and one day it will be. You'll not be able to, come back or so. So those were the two things that kept me. But again, having said that, uh, those were the initial layers or the initial ripples. I mean, at that point of time, I would say that at Abhishek Rao that was that at that particular point of time, he would say that the work is not impacted, life is not impacted. Only there are few these 2 points that I mentioned. It is just in perspective of that person.
Mm.
Now I see that okay, the work was getting impacted, the life was getting impacted, people were getting impacted. I mean, everything was there. And I think everything combined was getting impacted. That's why there was a push that you need to do something about it. So, yes, I mean, everything was getting affected. And sometimes you see that, oh, it's like, the thing that I told you while the session, that you keep on banging your head on wall and somebody comes and say, why are you doing this? And you say that it feels, great when you not do not do that. So, so it was like that only. But I think that was you, coming and saying that, why are you doing this?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's interesting you say you refer to yourself as a version in the past as if like you are now a different version and a more refined version. You can look back. And what's more interesting is you were not fully able to perceive the impact on your life. You only felt some of it, which was enough to nudge you and make. Then you made attempts to do cold turkey and NRTs and everything.
Yes,
Not to nudge you, but looking back, you can see that you were not even fully understanding the depth of the impact it had on different areas of
correct,
life, like your
correct.
work and family and how you feel about yourself. It's interesting you say that.
Yeah, I mean, probably you have, I mean, when you do smoke and you have your own set of thoughts, no?
Yeah.
Kept aside that, okay, I do this when I smoke. So, and those thoughts are with you, I mean, every single moment then.
Hmm.
Whenever you want to have a smoke and they help you.
Yeah.
So, so probably that was the case.
Speaking of thoughts, have you seen any difference in the level of brain activity for yourself and in how you perceive it when you're not smoking compared to when you used to smoke? Like, do you see any difference in the I recently heard someone say, like one of the person I was consulting, he said that he feels a lot of tranquility and calmness when he is not doing it. But when he is doing it, although it seems like a relief in the moment, but it just spikes his thought level activity very high and he just barely is able to control it.
I was in love with that rush,
Hmm.
to quickly get it done. Probably
The
that was the thing that I liked that, okay, it 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 gets you jagged in, plugged in, rather, that
You're
uh,
wired.
yeah, wired, and you have your own thoughts, and those thoughts are, bombarding onto you and continuously creating thoughts. I believed that that is the way to solve something, and that is the way to, do something, to get it done as early as possible, as quickly as possible, get
Hmm.
it out of my plate. And I think the that was the thing where, that was the particular process that I was hooked to. That was the urge to. So when, as I used to say that, okay, I need to get something done. Either it is work or life, and I am under stress. So I used to do that. So I used to smoke. So
So what was the trade-off with that? When you have that level of being wired, what happens once you're climbing down from that buzz?
then you again, have a guilt.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Hmm.
Yeah. Why you do? Why did I do that? Yeah, and this happened probably, and getting hooked to that, those rush of thoughts, those speeding thoughts, probably. I would say calmness, but you at that point of time you do not register that calmness.
Hmm.
No, that okay, now it's gone, or it is not as high in your system as it was at a certain point of time, and you feel that, and that calmness uh, 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 makes you feel alien. That okay, this is not my true self. My true self was the high, and you keep on chasing that high, and I think that's how you get hooked to it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's what I felt.
Yeah. But if you could briefly tell me what exactly happened to you during or after the session that we had, and what was the experience like for you in your chair from where you are seated?
In word, it was magic. It is. Now I say that, and and probably I believe, I would say to the audience that, who would be listening to our conversation, that uh, it's not that magic that you believe magic is. Uh, right now, I cannot get the correct word for it, but it is magic only, but not the ones that you see on your roadside magicians. Those are tricks, not magic, and
Hmm.
this is the real magic, I would say. And after your sessions, I I could see that, okay, even going chronologically, the first session that I had with you was profound. It was really profound. And I was like, my God, how is this even possible? There was one another side to it. No, you never see that part of yourself.
Hmm.
So and that was really, really, really profound, and uh, I could see the change at that point of time. And you told me that, okay, you might feel a little odd there and here and there, and it was fine. And the urge was gone. It was so not there. It just vanished. And I was wondering that how is it even possible? And all the things that I told you about, no, the things that I read on internet, and I researched that, okay, smoking this is due to this, and nicotine, all that studies, which are in some way correct only, but those are probably the surface level things. So, just scratching on the surface. That particular feeling told me, and that particular state of mind somewhere had. Uh, I witnessed it. I witnessed it that, okay, this is also a state where I can be, and that was, again, saying that it was profound for me, and a sense of calmness and everything. It was so peaceful. Kind of not the correct way to put it, but you get addicted to that also.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A better
That's
addiction, I
that.
would say.
That's a good thing. Like, and I
Yeah.
think heart of addiction is not something. I think we've been
Bad.
given a gift of putting attaching ourselves and binding ourselves to something. It's when we use that gift of binding ourselves to something which is beneficial to us, which is good for us, um, we actually can multiply and compound that. But because we don't know it and we don't realize it, because as you said sometime back, that what you knew was being in that high wired state by smoking, and you felt that was the true self because that was
Correct.
your experience. But as you said, when you sat in the session and you witnessed yourself, and it was not intellectual, but it was an experience that you had. And in that experience, you experience a new state of just being.
Yeah.
It brought you such calmness and profound peace that all of a sudden your eyes were open to a new state of being. And then, of course, that is addicting. Of course, you want to bind yourself to that because why not? It's a high
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's calm, and you're able to focus better. So, yeah, it's a great word. Addiction is not a problem. It's just the binding that happens. And if you don't bind ourselves to something that is worthwhile and beneficial to us, we unknowingly, of course, we end up binding ourselves with something that bring same thing applies. It takes us downwards, spiraling down,
Yeah.
or it could spiral you upwards. It's really a choice that you make, right? How long did it take for you to reach out to me? Like, how many months were you watching my reels before you said, okay, I'll just say hi to this guy?
I think it was a month only.
A month.
Yeah, a month. Uh, I mean, I was new to this particular field, and now I would say, I mean, at that point of time, my thought process was that I don't know about this guy. I don't know if that's correct or not. But yeah, it probably took a month for me to reach out to you, and I mean, I'm really grateful that I did reach out to you.
You're
Really, really
grateful.
grateful.
I'm,
So that I
I'm,
did.
I'm grateful you did. Yeah. And so
So
you
I
reached
mean,
out. We had our first call. I think we spoke for about 45 minutes to an hour. What
yeah,
did you feel like, okay, I've got to sign up, like I've got to work with this guy?
that particular call was the turning point. I mean, you told that we can have a free session for 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, this is something good. So I opted for it, and then we had our call. And the way you could connect was awesome. I mean, awesome is not the right word. The way you could connect was so real. I would say so real. Uh, no, no pointless things. I could have a person, or I could connect with a person. I could have a conversation with a person who 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 understands me, or who gets what I am going through.
Hmm.
So that was the turning point, and and again, that conversation went past 30 minutes also, and I was like, man, this is what is he doing? So yeah, and that was the point where I decided, and I probably mentioned you, right, that probably on that day itself I said, on that day, or I think on the second day, I messaged you on the night, no, that let's do it now.
Yeah. Let's do it right away. Yeah,
Yeah, let's do it right away.
right away. Yeah. And so you came with an expectation, perhaps, like you had that call, and maybe you had a thought that, okay, finally I'm going to break through. And I want to talk about that one incident in January this year. You reached out to me not smoking. You went off smoking, and then there was an incident, right? And then you went back to it. Oftentimes, a lot of people will take that as a failure. I'm sure something must have gone through your mind as well. So what was
Correct.
for you when that happened and you went back to it?
Uh, yeah, I mean, that something happened, probably a bad day, I would say, and I went back to smoking. And I could realize after that that, um, uh, or I would say that I became aware that why I go there, or why I want to be there at that point of time. It's like you handing me a better torch to see that. It's kind of, I mean, an analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got aware of that, and to be honest, at that particular point of time, I mean, at that particular moment when you were explaining me things, there were certain things that I couldn't understand at that point of time.
Hmm.
And but I registered to it that okay, I could see that there are certain things that you do not understand as of that moment, but you do after some time.
Hmm.
And that was the whole change in the perspective. And I mean, I would say that I came to you looking for a solution that okay, how to quit smoking, but it was never about quitting smoking.
Oh,
It
that is,
was, yeah, it was the other things, that make you do that. No, I mean, as I always mention, as Dr. Gaber made says that you need to see why addiction is there. I mean, what the person gets and what the person is running out from when he is, doing smoking or any addiction. It's not about how bad what he's doing. It's why he's doing that. What he is getting out of that.
there you go.
And if he's getting something out of it, it means that he is lacking in his own life. And it's not the literal sense of lacking. It might be that he is psychologically lacking that.
Perceived lack. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
perceived lack. I mean, it is always there. And you used to say that it is always there with you. And I used to think, how is that even possible? If it is there, I cannot see it? And yeah, but I do now. And that's a funny part. That's a very, very funny part. And then now I see that I also see it in others as well. No, they're not seeing their ones, their lacks, and it makes me wonder.
so it's interesting, isn't it? We are not starting from the place that there is something broken in you or the something needs to be fixed,
Yes,
but we're just going with knowing that you are whole and good as you are. It's just that you don't see it and fully recognize that. And it goes back to what you said at the starting of the call. At the start of the call, you said that it's you have witnessed a new state of being, and from there it's more addicting and more addictive to be in that state. So it's also interesting to note that among other people that I've worked with, you are also someone who is very well read and you have been interested in these subjects of the mind and making yourself better, really investing in reading. But how has reading all the books compared to working directly with a person, like, I've worked with you one to one? What was the big difference between just reading the books and doing the work directly?
I would say it's like telling someone who has never tasted salt how salt tastes. You
Yeah,
know, you can never explain to them. I mean, you could explain to them,
words.
but
Yeah.
but they cannot witness what salt tastes like. No, so the difference is this only.
Mhm.
I read a lot of books. I read a lot of articles. I read and I like this mind concept and all mind powers, and I used to read all the books. Reading and witnessing, I mean, now I see that those are entirely different perspective and entirely different experience to do. And I think now I somewhere see that reading and somewhere a nudge to satisfy yourself that okay, you are in the right direction, but reaching out to someone like you and having a one-on-one session is probably the next level to it. And I mean, I would definitely recommend to anyone. I mean, even if even if they have this, even if they have a doubt, I would say that one should absolutely reach out. I mean, there is no harm in reaching out to anyone for help, and probably that was the learning that I got while being with you. That okay, it's always good to ask for help. I mean, no harm in it,
Oh yeah.
but
I wouldn't be here without that myself. Like I still have a coach even today, and I wouldn't I recognize as myself and my greatness and my humanness. So I fully agree with you. Like,
yeah, this reminds to me of one thing as well, that when you say that you have your own coach, and I used to think that I don't know about others, but I used to think that the people, I mean the great people that we see in our world, uh, they did they did or they are great because of themselves only. But now I see that no, they I read about them and I see that okay, they have their own coaches, they have their own therapists, and they have their own sufferings, and they are asking for help. And just because of they are great and they have resources better than because of them being great, or let's say they are financially more affluent, so they can reach out more easily.
Yeah.
But I would say, I mean, this shouldn't stop anyone, for not reaching out. You should reach out. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's that.
Google's CEO has a coach. Dalai Lama has a coach, apparently. Yeah,
Uh,
not even an exaggeration. So my mentor said that, like, I was shocked, like, what? Like, yeah, you without a coach, you don't have a true reflection of who you are. Some mentor who can bounce off to you and give you a reflection, right? Like, what's really going on? And
uh,
so, yeah,
sorry to interrupt. When you say this, I just got this thought. The initial conversation that we had, and you told me that uh, you will be like a person who would. You told me an analogy that you cannot see the back of your head, right? You need a mirror for it,
yes,
and you will be in that mirror. And I couldn't register that at that particular point of time. And I mean, no, in literal means, yeah, I could, but what it meant in a deeper state, I couldn't see that at that point of time. But now I see, and it feels so good I'm really grateful to you for that.
well, I'm glad that you were able to see some things for yourself. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to explain what I do very straight. So I have to use metaphors like that. And I know that you did your best to understand that. But it's, again, as you said, different state to witness it. Now, one of the things that I've seen, especially in India, is when it comes to investing in yourself. And for example, now when you chose to work with me, um, you decided to put a almost a chunk of amount that was your yearly expense, or maybe a little less than a yearly expense for smoking. uh,
Correct.
what was going through your mind when you're about to put that, like, one shot, I've got to pay this guy right now, I'm signing up for this whole thing? What was going through your mind?
First thought was that how much, I mean, this is huge. This is huge. And I mean, probably I think everyone, not any Indian, I would believe everyone would think as a first conversation when they hear. But I probably not should say this to you, but that's very less. I mean, now I would say that that's very less, because
Yeah,
the things that I got to know about myself, and that I could experience, I mean, that amount is nothing, I would say.
the impact, you
Uh,
mean, right?
yeah, the impact.
Mhm.
So the amount is nothing, and I also, this one thing that I saw at that particular point of time, that investing in yourself and then doubting that okay, whether this would work or not, is not investing in yourself. You invest in yourself, and you should have a faith that you would do good. And if you have a second thought that okay, will this work or not, am I am investing so much, and if you're having doubts, then probably those are the those are the stones in your way, no, that
Yeah,
stop you from going there. So, and then the third thing would be that you being a perfect person, that you cannot fail. And I hear this every time I read it every time in books, that people say, Elon says, the faster you fail,
yeah.
the more, the time span to success would be less. And I used to wonder what he's saying. So, I mean, I couldn't register the deeper meaning to it. So, that's, I mean, that's how I believe that, that's what is, I mean, that's what I would say to others.
Beautiful. So Don't doubt yourself, set an intention and just go for it. Now, the structure which I offered, and I have to say this, like you literally are officially now the longest client that I have had in my structure. Like generally, I would get a breakthrough and maybe a call, maybe two or three max. But it took a while. We've been working since I think the beginning of this year, 2024, or maybe towards the end of. We spoke in December, I suppose, of last year.
Correct.
We started working towards the end of that year or starting of this year, but we've been working all this time. So we've had a few calls, less than half a dozen, but we've had those many calls and long ones as well, like very impactful ones as well. Uh,
Yeah.
what did you feel about the entire journey in the sense, the structure which is laid down? A lot of people have these doubts that, oh, but what if it does not work for me? What is the guarantee? Does this structure allow you to have a situation where it will not work for you?
Whenever you ask the question, there's the two versions of answer that I have. The one that I used to think that the one that I have, and it becomes difficult for me to
Yeah,
answer which one
share.
first.
I think share whatever is true.
When we say that this would not work for me, it is your ego's uh, defensive state saying defend. I mean, ego wants to defend that. How could you succeed? I mean, your ego is nothing but your past only, right? And you I mean, as per your age you have your whole baggage, and for me, let's say I'm a 30-year-old guy, and you have your own 30 years of data with you, and your ego is having all this data within, and whenever you want to try something, and whenever you are doing something good, and even if you're not reaching out to the end point as of now, in the point of lifetime that you are, your ego would say that, how could you even think that you could succeed? I mean, see all the data that you have from past. I mean, I cannot think of an example as of now, but I would say it is someone saying that I had a bad past, so therefore I will definitely have a bad future as well.
Yeah. Past equals to
But
future. So
yeah, past is equal to future, and one has to realize that it's not true, and you have to get out of it. I mean, no, it's saying get out of it. It's a very simple line. It is. I would not say difficult. It is.
a choice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice. You have to do that, and there would be moments in between that you would feel that, okay, it's not going to work. I mean, for me also, there were moments where I thought that, okay, it's not working.
You came and told me at least once. I think I am the gone case. Everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Probably I thought that, okay, I'm the one case that, you
Yeah.
would put on a banner that, okay, this guy didn't work. And I used to belittle, and then I saw that, okay, because now all my other reasons are gone, my brain is trying to create a new reason, no,
Yeah.
so that it can stick to it. So yeah, there were moments, but in and you were so calm in those moments. You would say, no, Abhishek, we can do that, and we'll do that. And I was like, this guy has more confidence in me than me itself. And but now I see it. No, now I see it. Yes, I mean, that was all my creation. All, and one has to realize that letting go of your ego. I used to hear it a lot, probably from my childhood as well. Uh, but now I see the real meaning of ego. The literal meaning is the literal or the usual meaning, the societal meaning that the people have about the ego is not the one that, I mean, we talk about. So,
Yeah.
so
It's just your identity, which of course you need to use in the world, like your spacesuit. Um, if you're an alien, if you're on Earth and you need a spacesuit, so it's good to have the spacesuit. It allows you to experience the atmosphere and the atmospheric pressure that this plane has. But when it starts dictating what you should be doing, then you give up the intelligent being that you are, who's wearing that.
correct,
You're taking the command
correct.
from the spacesuit, which will, of course, have its fears and all that stuff. So it's acknowledging that those fears are there and that they belong to the ego, but we are different, and you can always choose um, the adventure that you're here to have. And so, yeah, it was. So the structure which I was talking about is, I told you that the very first time we spoke, that when I work with you, I'll be working with you till you have your results. Like, and
Yes.
that's that's what I meant by, like, even
And
if
I,
you're flipping out, we're not
uh,
going to quit.
I mean, I would say that I'm really, really, really grateful for that, because having someone stick with you even in times of failures, and that's why I say that your peace is less, man. I should not say that,
Yeah.
but but I really, I mean, in a little way, if someone is really ready and want to quit smoking, I would say quitting smoking is a byproduct of, I would say it's a byproduct that I got. I mean, and the real benefits are somewhat different. No, that's how I see it. I mean,
So
uh,
give me a little bit of gist of what do you mean by the real benefits, like some examples of what is that?
I got to know that again, the addiction is not the problem. The problem is something else,
Hmm.
and you help in understanding those problems, probably solving those problems, and uh, when I say solving, people I think would think of something else as a meaning. It's not in the literal sense of solving, but you tell that, or you let your customers or your clients witness that there is no problem. Like,
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I'm so glad you clarified that. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So, and that and it takes a while to register that. I mean, for me it was, I don't know, it might be some it might be on a faster pace for someone else, and on a slower pace for someone else, but for me it was my own timeline, and there were in certain points where I had doubt on myself, but now I see that okay, there was no problem, no issue,
There you
and
go. Hmm.
when you witness that, probably you when you see that, that's a entirely different story to it. So that's the benefit that once one gets out of you, and then the quitting smoking happens as a byproduct. I mean, we had so many sessions, and and then one sudden day it was gone, and I could see it. I could see it that now it's gone, and it was so profound. And I mean, I was like, "What the hell?" And
Interesting. Yeah.
I used to, you hear people say this, that one fine day they realized, and I was like, how could, I mean, I could hear, it's like, again, hearing someone say this and actually witnessing it. And when it was gone, and when I say this, it might seem that it was a click of a moment, but it was the whole process from January onwards. But it was worth it. I would say it was definitely worth it. I mean, and I mean, really, really, again saying, I'm really, really grateful for this.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the process was of your own transformation, and not in literal sense you transforming, but your perception changing to the point that things that unconsciously were a problem don't seem like a problem. So to speak, we don't go and change your past, but you witness and you experience what it is to just um, let the past be there, but it doesn't affect you in the same way like it used to.
Yes, and I mean, here I would like to quote that few people think that the past, the version that they think that the past is affecting them, and there's another version that is there, and they do not see that. I mean, that version of past is affecting them, and they even don't know that it is
Oh,
affecting
yes.
them. I
So
mean,
you don't even know that exists.
yeah, they don't even know that
The
exists.
lying, it's beneath their awareness. Yeah.
Yeah,
what you
Yeah, I
need.
mean, the unconscious
Oh,
version of you,
oh yeah.
and that was kind of experience for me.
Well, it's been beautiful just hearing your experience, and thanks so much for sharing all of that so candidly. And I just wish you all the best, man. It's been a pleasure just watching you transform, and I can see where you're headed, now with a light heart and more aware of your own greatness and also never ignoring your humanness. So I can see
Yeah,
more about just coming into your own awareness. That's really has happened. So there is no stopping you from really creating what your heart truly desires. I'm so looking forward to actually watching you go ahead and do what you really want to create. I wish you all the best with that.
yes, yes. Thank you.